Before we moved to Spain, we lived in the US and we felt pretty unhappy, stressed, burned out, and barely had time for each other.
So we decided to move to Spain, and now we say it's one of the best decisions we ever made. We're able to enjoy this incredible, luxurious quality of life that we never were able to in the United States.
So in this video, we'll talk about why we left the US, why we chose Spain among any other European country, and the reality of moving here.
So if you're thinking of moving to Spain with your family, this video is for you.
So first of all, how did we feel in the US and why did we decide to pack everything and move across the ocean to Spain?
There were many reasons. Ultimately, I would just say that life in the US was very stressful and just not so rewarding and enjoyable. We had both, been to Europe and traveled extensively in Europe, and we really missed the European lifestyle. And it's like in the US, you pretty much just have work, and that's kind of your entire life. You're living in a place, and it's not like you can just walk out of your apartment and be in this amazing place where there's so much to do and, amazing restaurants and amazing cultural experiences. And actually, most American cities are quite dangerous, and you don't really
You don't want to walk there.
You don't really want to walk there and explore them as much.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And so when we were in the States, we really just felt like our entire life was work, and it was just nonstop grind. I would wake up at like 4:30 in the morning and go to the gym, and immediately come back and basically get to work for my 8 o'clock meeting, and it was just repeat every single day, and there just wasn't much to do, and we were just like, there's got to be more to life than this.
Yes,
So,
it was constant feeling that you are missing out the life because there are no quaint streets, look where we are walking right now. It's so beautiful here, quaint houses painted colorfully, and it's so charming here. Like, you have this European charm, and you rest here, your mind rests, you feel peaceful and
safe.
Safe. First of all, you feel safe. So yeah, definitely we didn't feel like that in the US. So let's talk about why we chose Spain among any other European country. And I remember back then in the US how you came up to me and you were like, look, I finally found a way how we can move back to Europe.
Yeah, I remember that. And we were specifically looking at the Portuguese digital nomad visa at the time because it had been around for a long time, and it was really the only one that I knew of where people were actually getting a visa and coming to move to Europe as remote workers, right? And then I remember stumbling upon something about the Spain digital nomad visa, and I was like, wait a minute, I had never heard about this. And it was actually brand new at the time. So it just came out in 2023.
Yeah.
And it was like a brand new thing, and it was like, wow, this actually looks very interesting. And Spain was actually our #1 choice of all the countries in Europe to live in, because we had both wanted to live there, actually. So you had studied there, right, and worked there. I had also lived there for a little bit and traveled all around Spain, and so I loved it, you loved it.
Yeah.
We both speak a bit of Spanish, so yeah, we were like really in love with Spain.
It was the most logical choice to actually choose Spain over Portugal. By the way, I know it can be confusing to understand all the requirements for Spain's digital nomad visa, and that's why I created a free checklist that will guide you step by step with all the requirements. You can download it in the description below. What was your first impression when we first arrived to Spain?
Great question. So when we first arrived, my first impression was I felt like I could kiss the ground after I got off the plane, because I was just so grateful to be in Europe. And I just felt this weight off of my shoulders, because I had been wanting to just live in Europe. We had been wanting to live in Europe for, the longest time. And finally we were there. And it just felt like such a relief when we got off the plane and we were like, we're finally here. We made it. And I remember walking onto our balcony in our apartment one day after we arrived, and hearing parrots, and actually seeing parrots in the trees below our balcony. And I was like, this is surreal, this is crazy, this is amazing. And it really just, like, I don't know, sunk in, I'm like, wow, we're actually here. Like, this, it feels like a dream, but we're actually here and we're living here. And so, yeah, it was
when you wake
amazing.
up not with the sound of honking cars, but actually with parrots sitting just below your balcony.
Yeah, it was
That's
amazing.
something.
So, yeah.
And how do you compare a day of our life back in the US and now in Spain?
So the biggest thing that I first noticed was the slow mornings. It was a massive change. So instead of waking up at 4:30 in the morning and like starting the day in a rush and
Yeah.
right into the grind, I remember us just going for a walk in the park and seeing palm trees and
Yeah, we
just
have this like small quaint palm park
yeah,
next to our building, and it's just
so
so
peaceful,
peaceful
so
there.
nice. Again, seeing the parrots as they're singing and just going on this
Getting those
yeah
sun rays
sun rays,
first
yeah,
thing in the morning.
and being able to just like take your time to just wake up and not be in a rush from the very moment you wake up. It was just such a relief.
It's so much better even for your general well-being, for your health, uh, just to go to the cafe and to sip a coffee without being in a rush, because you actually start working, because we work with American clients. We are helping Americans move to Spain, and we start working like from 1 p.m. Sometimes we start having calls from 2 p.m. So basically all our morning we can have for ourselves to just go to the gym, right? To go for a walk. Sometimes we play badminton if it's like a good, if it's not windy outside. And it's just amazing to start a day differently comparing how we were starting our days back in the US.
Absolutely. So another thing that perfectly captured that I saw was this one meme that this guy said, the thing I love about living in Europe but working American hours is you can sleep in, wake up, have a croissant, your espresso, you can go for a long walk in the park, go to the gym, come back, have lunch, take a siesta, and still be on time for the morning meeting in US hours, right? And so I thought that was just so funny because it's exactly how I feel. When you live in Europe but you work American hours, you just have all this newfound time in the morning.
Such a big advantage.
Yeah.
From my friends and family, I've heard many times the same question. With this slow paced lifestyle, how can you get anything done? And how does it affect your productivity?
That's a great point. Yeah. So for anybody that's worried about being less productive with the slow-paced lifestyle in Spain, I've actually found the opposite to be the case because especially when you wake up in the morning and you have this free time for yourself, right, with the time zone arbitrage that I mentioned, you just have so much more time in the morning for deep work, and that's where you can actually have the time to push forward meaningful projects and actually get stuff done without being constantly interrupted and having your focus broken
Yeah,
every 15 minutes. So I actually find that I'm far more productive since we moved to Spain. I don't know about you,
definitely.
but
Same.
yeah,
I'm way
yeah.
more focused.
So it's really like you actually work smarter here because you just have higher quality work in the morning that you can do before you actually have all your meetings and all of that.
But of course, not everything is sunshine and rainbows. There are parts that we um, don't necessarily enjoy. For example, taxes. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so pros and cons. Like let's
Mm.
let's actually break it down. So a lot of times people are terrified of taxes in Europe and they're like, yeah, taxes are crazy in Europe. And I mean, it's true to an extent, but there are a couple of factors to keep in mind, right? So one is that not every part of the United States is tax friendly. Like I recently learned that California pays just as much taxes as like some of the highest tax European countries.
But they
So
don't get anything in return,
you don't
like
get
no
anything in
public
return
health
for it.
care, like nothing.
And also the prices in California are like the most
Yeah.
expensive, like some of the most expensive prices in the world. So it's pretty crazy. That's why a lot of our clients from California are actually moving to Spain. But the thing is, like, I wouldn't say that taxes are a make or break, like a deal breaker kind of situation in Spain, because you have to factor in the cost of living, right? It's like a 40% lower on average cost of living in Spain than most American cities. And so, even if you're paying a bit more in taxes, the cost of living more than makes up for it, and your money still goes much further here, even when you factor in taxes. And the other thing is that you actually get something for the tax that you pay. So, for example, if you're self-employed or a contractor, you'll be required to enroll in the Social Security system in Spain and make Social Security payments. But the benefit of that is that, unlike in the States where like public healthcare is not even a thing, free public healthcare is like, what is that? You get free public healthcare in Spain when you're contributing to the Social Security system. So that's the thing that's so nice, is that you're protected, and you and your whole family are protected. If you're, like, for example, on the digital nomad visa and you're the main applicant and you're contributing to the Social Security system, your entire family gets free public health care along with you. So yeah, I would just say overall your money still goes much further, even when you factor in that you'll pay a bit more in taxes. And yeah, it's definitely
But
not a deal
well,
breaker.
still, people who are looking to move to some tax-friendly countries, then I would not recommend moving to
Yeah,
Spain.
it's not like Dubai or
Yeah, just I
any of
mean, move
these
to,
low
I don't
tax
know,
places.
Cyprus, to
Yeah.
Malta, to, yeah, Dubai. Okay, it's not Europe, but still, to other tax-friendly countries, not to Spain. Then, because if that's a deal breaker for you, you will be paying taxes here. Okay, and they are still quite high.
But keep in mind that Americans still pay a lot in taxes.
Mm.
The U.S. is not some like low tax haven or
Especially
anything like that.
self-employed, right?
Yeah, I mean, you pay
Self-employed
a lot of
business
taxes still in the
owners.
States. And so, like, in comparison, it's actually not that much more in Spain, but the cost of living is way less in Spain. So, I mean, if you're comparing Spain to, like, yeah, a place where there's like zero tax, like, like a tax haven, then obviously it's a bigger difference. But if you're comparing the US tax system to Spain, you're not actually paying like that much more in Spain, but the cost of living is way better and you actually get much more for your taxes.
For example, public transportation, which completely doesn't exist in the US, maybe in some big metropolitan cities, but it's so outdated and
And not
horrible
safe.
and not safe that it actually doesn't exist. You can count it. And it's so, first of all, cities in Spain are super walkable. You do not need to have a car, and you are not spending money for car insurance, for maintenance, for gas. It already lowers your monthly expenses. Plus, you have great public transportation. We live in Valencia, and we have here Metra, so subway. They call it here Metra. Um, we have tram, we have buses, we have bikes and actual bike lanes that are not in the middle of the road, but they are safely on the side next to pedestrians, how it's supposed to be.
Cheap
And
taxis,
cheap taxes, yeah.
a lot cheaper than the US generally. So, yeah, I would say that's a good point. And also, like, our cell phone service is, we pay like 10 euros a month for our cell phone service, which is crazy. Obviously, health insurance is free if you're in public healthcare. Private healthcare is also much cheaper than the US. So if you want to have both private healthcare and public
Yeah, it's
healthcare, for
between
example,
50 to 80 euros per
yeah.
person.
And even if you need to pay out of pocket for something like a quick checkup or a blood test in Spain, it's actually very affordable to do that. And yeah, so if you don't want to, like, if you don't have private insurance and you don't want to wait for some kind of public healthcare appointment or whatever, you can just go and pay out of pocket, and it's really not a big deal. It's still much cheaper generally than the US to
For
do that.
sure.
So that's another thing to keep in mind. Cost of groceries. I think this is an interesting point. So I believe you mentioned that because you do our budget for groceries and everything, and I believe you said that we pay maybe similar amounts in groceries here in Spain as
Yeah.
we did in the US.
Around $700 per month.
But the difference is that, like, we don't limit ourselves at all here.
At
Like,
all.
we just get
We just
anything
buy
that we
whatever we
want,
want.
even if it's like whatever the most expensive imported Italian Parmigiano, like, authentic, or
Yeah, just
Greek
different type
feta
of
cheese, like
cheese, like Greek, Spanish, Italian,
wine, right?
wine,
Anything.
beef, steaks.
Yeah.
Yeah, just olive oil, whatever price that is for the
Basically,
olive oil.
like, you can afford to just get the highest quality produce, and it's not going to like break the bank. In the States, if you're buying everything from Whole Foods and you're trying to actually get the highest quality food in the States, you're going to spend a lot of money on groceries. Whereas I'd say the difference here is that even with a modest budget, you can get the highest quality kind of stuff, and you just don't feel restricted at all.
And I just love how you don't have to go to the supermarket and do groceries for a whole week. We actually we do groceries here every 2-3 days. And if I want to go to the bakery and buy fresh sourdough bread or some quiche or some croissants, I can just easily do that because I found just a great bakery 10 minutes away from us. I just absolutely love how you can go almost wearing your slippers to the next supermarket or just local small store, local business, and buy whatever you want.
Except keep in mind that Spanish people don't usually go places in their slippers and pajamas like we do in America. So they tend to dress up more. But yes, metaphorically speaking, you could go in your slippers if you wanted to.
What better place to sum up this video than in front of the sea here on the beach? Just perfect weather. It's not windy, it's not cold, it's absolutely perfect. And yeah, we talked a lot today about different things, and we can just talk about Spain endlessly. But what would you say people who are considering moving to Spain, what do they need to know maybe about real life in Spain? What do you about their move to Spain? Any advice that we can give those people?
I mean, I would really just say, you know, if you're considering making the move, first of all, you have to decide if you're serious about making the move, right? Because it is something that is a big commitment, right? So, you know, you have to actually make sure you're serious about this and research it ahead of time, you know, watch all of, you know, Marie's videos, you know, do all your research and really just try to get as clear of an idea of what life is like here so that you're informed and you're able to actually make an informed decision and commit. But if you are serious about moving to Spain and you know that this is something that you want to do, I would just say don't delay it too long, because the thing is, you don't know how long this opportunity is actually going to be around for. And this is actually something that we personally said to each other when we were planning on moving to Spain. When we found out that the digital nomad visa had been created, we were like, well, we don't know how long it's going to last for. Because visa programs, they change all the time.
Like Golden Visa.
Golden
it
Visa,
was for
Spain
how many
closed
years
it
and
down.
Then closed it last year in April.
Yeah,
gone.
completely shut down. So it's like, you know, requirements can change, laws can change, visas can change, and yeah, you just don't know you know, how long this opportunity is going to be available for. So all of that is just to say, if you're serious about making the move, don't delay, because you know, now this opportunity is open. The other thing is that, you know, rent prices are only increasing here. You know, things are constantly changing, and so if you have this opportunity to move to Spain now and you're serious about it, now is the time, I would say.
So if you're wondering what are the actual ways to move to Spain, there are basically two main visas, the digital nomad visa and the non-lucrative visa. And I've created free checklists on both of these visas, and you can download them for free in the description below this video. This checklist will walk you through step by step with all the requirements and will help you collect all the documents that you need to have for your application. And if you're serious about moving to Spain in the next 3 to 6 months, you can also book a discovery call with my team. On this call, you'll learn how we can help with every part of your relocation, starting with the visa process, planning for your move, finding an ideal apartment, securing school for your children, moving your pets, and basically everything so that you can focus on your work or your business and just live your best life in Spain. And if you want to see more content like this, click here to watch another video. And I'll see you next week.
Hasta pronto.